All right, sorry guys, got cut off there. Okay, so just kind of talking about abolition in America. I kind of jumped ahead in the slides about the Slave Act, and we'll come back to that. So let's kind of back up a little bit. In 1836, we have House of Representatives passing the gag rule, which basically put a kibosh on any discussion about slavery within Congress because it was just such a controversial issue. And we saw that with the Missouri Compromise. I think we saw that. I know that we kind of hinted at that with the nullification crisis, that Southerners are starting to, question to what extent are people willing to kind of interfere with their way of life. And so we're going to see that continue to be a significant issue. And we also see political parties that are growing, such as the Liberty Party, that are coming together over this institution of slavery. And here we have this dapper gentleman, Frederick Douglass, who just lived an amazing life, escaped slavery, just an amazing writer, and just gives us really interesting perspectives into the life as a slave, the life of a free man, the life of a free black man. And he's really influential in politics, and we're going to see him moving up to the Civil War, that he is just a powerhouse in this abolition movement to the benefit of enslaved persons. So I'm going to turn it back to Ms. Vera, who's going to bring us home.
All right, so the end of the chapter wraps up talking about women's rights in antebellum America and women's suffrage. So that's what I'm going to talk about here for the next couple of minutes. One of the things that happens as a result of the Second Great Awakening is you get to see a lot of social and political movement in getting women the right to vote. Now, we got to lay down the foundation before we talk about suffrage. 19th century American women had very little rights, and pretty much once a woman entered into a marriage, she had no political rights. 19th century women couldn't vote. All property went to the husband when they were married, and they were pretty much, to a large degree, second-class citizens in America and second-class citizens under the law. This was all sort of driven by this concept of the cult of domesticity, where this idea that the woman's role and in the social structure of America in the 19th century was to be at home, to be the caregiver, the child rearer, and to basically be the moral fiber of America holding the nation together. It was not to be the political voice. It was not to be the economic voice. And so as a result of that, women start to increasingly fight harder for the same rights that a man has in 19th century America. We mentioned earlier, women play a huge role in this religious revival movement of the Second Great Awakening. Women play a huge role in the temperance movement. And women also are one of the leading voices in the fight to abolish slavery in the United States. And kind of the seminal moment of the antebellum period in terms of women's rights is the Seneca Falls Convention. In 1848, feminists meet in New York at a convention known as the Women's Rights Convention. Now, at this convention, Elizabeth Cady Stanton and others draft a Declaration of Sentiments. And in the Declaration of Sentiments, it's a very similar document to the Declaration of Independence, except it does not limit the rights granted or the declaration to just men. It also includes women. A quote from it are, "All men and women are created equal." And this is a document that we hope to kind of revisit in class and dig a little bit deeper into it and compare it to the Declaration of Independence. And a resolution is passed at the Seneca Falls Convention demanding suffrage for women. And there is a lot of momentum, a lot of progress moving towards women getting the right to vote nationwide. Even before the Civil War, in some Western states, women were granted the right to vote in local elections and state elections. But under the U.S. Constitution, suffrage was still only granted to white men. And so you begin to see this push in the 1840s and as the decades move on, with women getting the right to vote. And that all is pretty much crushed by the Civil War, in that a lot of the movement that women had made in terms of suffrage and the right to vote, really just when the Civil War hits, it all comes to a crashing halt. And then during the Reconstruction period, which we will obviously cover, it's never really, the same momentum really isn't recaptured until much later in the Progressive Era and moving into World War I, which is in the 20th century, in the 1900s. So women's suffrage, to a large degree, is pretty much tabled because of all the attention that the Civil War grasps. So again, that is the antebellum Age of Reform period for United States history, chapter 10. We hope that you guys are enjoying our little lecture podcast. We hope that you guys are enjoying American Yop. I know that us two nerds, we sure do enjoy it. So enjoy the rest of your weekend, and we will see you Monday in class.